Yep, you read that title right. You clicked on the right video. A way too early Ohio State and Michigan preview. Listen, we're over a month away from this game, but everyone looks forward to this all year long. And Penn State, they dropped the ball. They killed the vibe for that upcoming matchup. So I thought during the bye week, let's have some fun and preview Ohio State and Michigan. Of course, we'll have another preview closer to the game, but where it stands right now, the Buckeyes and the Wolverines, let's preview as if they were to match up today or pretty close to today. Before we get into all of it, a chance to beat Michigan right here, right now. When the Michigan Football Report did their Ohio State preview a year ago, they got 50 new subscribers. So I said, not only could the Ohio State fans and the people following the Ohio State Report beat that, we can double it, the people watching this video. If you have not subscribed, help us win the sub battle. We want to double what Michigan had. They had 50. We need 100. Hit that sub button, and let's go get it. A quick recap for the matchup. It pains me to say. I see way too much Michigan on there. They have won 4 in a row. 2020, you all... they were sick. They were sick. They couldn't play in the big game. Couldn't play. And the Buckeyes on a roll before that. I don't want to see it be 5-5. It's going to kill me to see 5-5. It's a gigantic year for Ohio State to get this thing done. We're going to jump into all that with Ryan Day, the team, and company. First, a little bit with the Wolverines. If you're not familiar, the defense, the offense has been all over the place. They've managed to snag 5 wins. They've got 2, I will say, they've got 2 quality losses. USC's a good team, and they lost to Oklahoma, who I still think is a good team and a top 25 team. I think USC should be, maybe not at the moment, top 25-ish team. They're playing a similar schedule to Ohio State strength-wise, in my opinion. They just haven't won the games the way Ohio State has, in my opinion. So you can see the scores, all that, with Michigan specifically shutting a team down, giving up 30 points. Shutting a team down, giving up almost 30 points. Every single that back and forth, that'll come into play when we talk about the defense coming up. The what to watch for in this matchup. We will get into what the strengths are for the Michigan Wolverines. Offensively, defensively, they are different than years past. Sherrone Moore, in his second full year coaching for Michigan, things are a little different, and they're trying to make the most of it. And again, that's why they're where they're at record-wise and figuring things out. First things first. Everyone wants to talk Bryce Underwood. Yes, we mentioned Bryce Underwood in this. This is a running team. They run the rock, and they have quality runners to do so. Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall, and the quarterback, Bryce Underwood, have looked terrific running the ball. That is the strength of this team, especially Underwood, being a true freshman, still figuring out the passing of college football and going through the air. And there's some complaints about play calling and how they're driving their Ferrari quarterback. But, hey, no argument here. If you have a young quarterback, you're trying to figure things out. We knew Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall would have a good year, and they have showed up and showed out so far. Underwood fits in perfectly. The Buckeyes are going to have a long day trying to stop this. They have a great defense. They have great linebackers, and I still think Haynes, Marshall, Underwood, definitely going to be a challenge. Moving on to a different challenge. Those rushers on the edges for Michigan, Derek Moore and Jayshon Barham. This is a 1-2 punch, man. And Barham, specifically, the Wolverines have moved him around and used him in different ways to make the most of his talent. Moore's been terrific. His pass rush grade is electric. He's gotten the sacks, tackles for loss, tackles. Barham, since they moved him, has brought a whole new spark to this defense. I will note, again, with the defense of Michigan, up and down, right? As you saw on the scores we showed you, it is shut a team down, give up almost 30. Shut a team down, give up almost 30. What will they do against Ohio State? An offense really still trying to figure themselves out. We'll talk about that. Now, the 2 guys that have to take on these edge rushers, that's a benefit for the Buckeyes. They've had pretty good seasons from their left and right tackle, specifically their left tackle. I haven't given Austin Sareveld enough love on this show. A guy that we really weren't sure what position he would play, how he would fit, what he would do for the Buckeyes. Hasn't given up a sack. He hasn't given up a sack this season in his first year at left tackle for the Ohio State Buckeyes in Division I college football for the number 1 team in the country. Has not given up a sack. Quality stuff. Philip Daniels has slowed down a little bit at right tackle. That is definitely a matchup to watch. If they send Barham after him, if they send Moore after him, I think that's going to be really, really tough for him to kind of deal with those guys. So I would watch Daniels more than Sareveld. Shout out the beard, too, by the way. Sareveld getting rid of that baby face looks really, really good. One more playmaker to watch for Michigan, Cole Sullivan, all over the place. Tackles are there, tackle for losses there, sacks, and a couple interceptions at that linebacker position. So again, offense, they're running the ball. Defense, they've got their playmakers. Not consistent on defense yet, but they've got their playmakers. So the Buckeyes going to have to watch for that one, and Michigan going to want to make the most of their stars and their strengths on offense and defense. I want to hear from you guys real quick. What's your most fond memory of Ohio State and Michigan? For me, they don't play at night, but they did kick off, I believe it was 06, 07, how you like determine what year it was. They kicked off at 3:30. So the end of the game was dark under the lights. It was awesome. It was awesome. That's always my favorite Ohio State-Michigan memory. Feel free to leave yours in the comments down below. Second, what to watch for in this game, Ryan Day and Sherrone Moore. They have become linked, right? For a minute, it was Day and Harbaugh-ish, kind of, but we knew it would be Day and the next man, and the next man was Sherrone Moore. Moore, again, in his second full year coaching for the Wolverines. Ryan Day has been the coach of the Buckeyes since 2019. Terrific record, a great winning percentage so far in his career as he continues to build that. He's won a national championship as a head coach. Michigan's what's left for the guy. That's what's left for him, right? 1-4 against Michigan, 0-2 against Sherrone Moore, who was a part of that 2023 national championship team as an offensive coordinator and a stand-in coach. I wonder why I had to stand in. That's weird. Career coaching record. Still figuring that out in general. We will jump into the idea of where he's at as a coach in just a second, but we do want to let you guys know today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks, best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Basketball is back, right? Great example of stacks. LeBron, when he gets in there. Points, rebounds, assists, stacks. Same lineup. Really good stuff. Really good stuff here from our guy, producer Aiden, setting us up right on Prize Picks with this lineup. Breece Hall, more than 69.5 rushing yards coming up between the Jets and Bengals. It is wacko for Flacco time in Cincinnati, going more on a touchdown pass and a half. And then T. Higgins benefiting from wacko for Flacco time, more on 52.5 receiving yards for T. Higgins. If you like that lineup, or you like any other lineup on Prize Picks, you can copy that lineup directly on the app with one click. Can be a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit that follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Back to the Michigan-Ohio State matchup for this year. Like I said, this is what's left for Ryan Day. Beat Michigan. He has beaten Michigan. I think that's forgotten a lot. He can't beat Michigan. He has beaten Michigan. However, Urban Meyer did it consistently. Jim Tressel did it consistently. Those are the guys you're always going to be compared to, right? Do it. Figure it out. Find the recipe. Find the formula. We're getting a lot of stories of last year's post-Michigan game. I hope Ryan Day took from that, builds on that, and moves forward. On the other side of coaching, I'm not technically like a Michigan fan or plugged all the way in with that fan base. I do try to follow, of course, because that's an Ohio State competitor. I feel that hot seat heating up for Sherrone Moore. I've seen some fans turn on Sherrone Moore, right? And the one thing Sherrone Moore has had outside that 14-7 record, he's beaten Ohio State, right? So if you don't have that anymore, I think the pressure falls on Sherrone Moore a little bit more as coach of Michigan, but we will see on that. If you want Ohio State to beat Michigan, we run this every week. It has worked every week. You don't want to not do this and see what happens. Bring the Buckeyes some good juju, some good mojo. Like the video if you want Ohio State to beat Michigan. All right, I'm going to do my best weatherman voice. For Chat Sports Weather, I'm Billy Beebe talking to you today about the Ohio State-Michigan game. Okay, I took a way-ahead look. Yes, you can look at the weather a month and a half ahead, by the way. Looking solid. 40 degrees and partly cloudy. Geez, would C.J. Stroud have killed for 40 degrees and partly cloudy in Ann Arbor? For Julian Sayin, it's okay. I think this is okay. For a guy that hasn't played a lot of football and for a guy that's a California kid, I don't want to make that his whole thing. C.J. Stroud was a California kid. I think it's better that it's not going to be 35 light winds and a snowdrift. I just feel better in general. I think this may be the final test for Julian Sayin is a bad weather game or a bad situation game. He may get that against Purdue. I think that may help him out a little bit to get ready for this. But we will have our eyes on the weather report and Julian Sayin in general with worse weather in this game. Maybe you don't even think about that. Maybe you don't even care about that. Maybe you disagree with me overall. How concerned are you about Julian Sayin, a California kid, a redshirt freshman that's only played 7 games for the Buckeyes so far, playing in not great weather, whether it be colder, wind, rain? Not necessarily supposed to rain, but again, it's colder, it's a different time of year. Scale it for me. How worried are you? Scale it 1 to 10. Back to the Wolverines, a little talk about where they are right now in their season, right? They are 5-2 in a very mixed up, I want to say Big Ten, and a mixed up college football playoff picture. An updated ESPN bubble watch. Michigan falls under work to do. Work to do. Guess what that work to do is? Win out. That's it. You're going to want to win out to make the college football playoff. One more loss and it's not going to do it. That means when Michigan hosts Ohio State at the end of November, they have to win to get in the college football playoff. I believe that will be the scenario, and absolutely that will bring them extra juice. That is not the 4 team. That's the 12 team. They'll need that win to get in with that group. So very interesting extra add, right, for Michigan to get out of that work to do, win out, and then beat the number one, what you would expect to be the number 1 ranked Buckeyes at home to get into the college football playoff. Do you think Michigan will make it to the college football playoff? Let me know down below. If you think they'll make it, type Y for yes. If you think Michigan will miss the playoffs, type N for no. All right, this next what to watch for is my personal PSA for Buckeye fans, Michigan fans, college football fans that are just watching the game. When Ohio State plays Michigan, every single time, without fail, there's a huge thing to remember here. When this game begins, rankings, talent, out the window. I don't care if the Buckeyes are number 1 and undefeated and Michigan hasn't won a game. I don't care if the Buckeyes have loads and loads and loads more talent, or Michigan has loads and loads and loads more talent at the quarterback, at the running back, all the positions. Once that game starts, history has shown it's 11 on 11. It's all on that field. That's what this matchup has done for years. And I think last year is absolutely, undoubtedly, the number 1 example of this. Buckeyes, way better. Meant to go to a national title at that point. Searching for literally only that win against Michigan for a lot of those guys is what they wanted. Very talented. Michigan had lost loads of talent, and yet Michigan goes on the road and beats Ohio State. How many times were Urban Meyer teams way better than Michigan, ranked better, more talent, made deeper runs after, and yet we're looking in the final minutes of a 1-score game, of overtime, so on and so forth. Throw the talent out the window. Throw the rankings out the window. Once it kicks off, that's it. That's all there is. It's that game, and that's what makes it so great, folks. That's why I love it so much. That's why everyone in Ohio and Michigan loves it so much. And really college football fans, right? They know it's the best rivalry. They love watching it. And you'll love watching it. We will be live on November 29th. Very excited to bring you Ohio State and Michigan, the live watch party between the Buckeyes and the Wolverines right here on the Ohio State Football Report.